All right, welcome back to the. Wait, did I start the recording? I did. Look at that. All right, welcome back to the First-Time Homebuyer Survival Series. This is part 20. I can't believe we're already on part 20. This has been fun. I hope this has been helpful so far. Hopefully this is helping to make the home buying process easier. If it's not, if I'm just making it more confusing or making you more overwhelmed, that would be terrible. Please let me know in the comments if this has been helpful for you. You can always reach out to me as well. If you do have any questions or anything that you're confused about, please reach out to me. I would love to help you out. All right, so today we're still going over the offer process. So we went over our price, we went over the deposit and how that's important. We went over the closing date and how you can use it to make your offer more competitive. Today, we're on the final, most important aspect, which is the conditions. A lot of buyers focus mostly on the price, and the price does matter, but conditions are what actually protect you and your interests in the transaction. So let's break this down. So a condition is a clause written into the agreement that allows you as the buyer to walk away from the deal if certain requirements are not met. This is critical. Remember the deposit that we talked about earlier? If you have conditions in place and one of them isn't satisfied, you get your full deposit back. If you don't have conditions and something goes wrong and you need to walk away from the deal, you can lose that deposit and be forced into a deal that doesn't actually work for you, or you could be opening yourself up to legal repercussions if you have to walk away. That's why we don't gloss over this part. It's very important. So you might have heard conditional versus firm when you're talking about a real estate offer. And what that means is a conditional offer is just one that still has conditions that need to be satisfied. And a deal is firm when all the conditions have been met and the sale is guaranteed to proceed. Conditional means that it can fall apart. Firm means that it is locked in. Now, conditions can vary quite a bit in terms of what they are and what they mean. The two most common ones are going to be home inspection and financing. So if we use home inspection as the example, we'll break it down, let you know sort of how this is going to work. So conditions are fully negotiable based on the timelines, but typically it'll give you about 5 business days to complete a condition. So let's say we put in our offer and the sellers accepted it, but we have a condition in there for a home inspection. Usually we'll have about 5 business days to arrange that home inspection on the property. We'll go more into home inspections and how to conduct that in a later video, but for now, what you're doing is basically you're having a home inspector go through to check the property out, make sure that there's no big red flags, make sure that there's no massive damage that you can't see or anything like that, that you want to basically just have a full report as to what is going on with the home before you actually purchase it. The seller has to provide reasonable access to the home for the inspection. They can't just refuse every time option that you give. Now, the seller is going to give you an inspection report, and in this case, you have 3 options. Option 1, you're happy with the results, you waive the condition, the deal goes firm, and then you move forward. Option 2, the inspection reveals something that is going to be very expensive to fix or concerning. You use that information to renegotiate. That could be asking for a price reduction or asking the seller to address certain items before closing. And then option 3, you decide that the home isn't worth the work or the risk, and then you walk away from the deal and you get your full deposit back. That's the protection that the condition gives you. Let's say if we didn't do that and you bought the home and there was a bunch of work that you didn't want to do or that you can't afford to do, now you're stuck doing it because you didn't put the condition in place. So that you can see how that would be super important, right? Now, the other most common condition is financing. And what this does, it basically just gives you time to finalize your mortgage on the property so that you can actually get the funds to purchase it with. Even if you are pre-approved, things can change once the bank looks at a specific property. So let's say that you don't put in your financing condition, you buy the home, and then you find out that the bank actually doesn't want to give you the mortgage for that home. Now you're stuck coming up with the $560,000 yourself, which, if you have that all cash, then great, but you probably don't if you were getting the mortgage in the first place. So that financing condition protects you. It just makes sure that you're guaranteed to get that mortgage arranged, and it protects you if the deal falls through with that financing. You can get that deposit back again. You're not still legally obligated to buy the home. So this is something to always talk with your mortgage broker about. It's best practice to include this most of the time, but sometimes in a multiple offer situation, you might be able to get rid of this. You want to talk to your broker and see what they advise you to do in this case. Now, there's a balancing act that you have to strike with conditions, because in a perfect world, buyers want as many conditions as possible, but for sellers, they want as few conditions as possible, ideally none. So the more conditions that you include in your offer, the less attractive your offer becomes, because the seller is taking on more risk and losing more time and more money if the deal falls apart. This is where strategy comes in. You want enough conditions to protect yourself, but not so many that your offer becomes uncompetitive. And that is the job of your agent, to help you strike a balance based on the property, the market, and the situation that you're in. Now, there can be other possible conditions. It will really depend on a case-by-case basis on the home that you're looking at. So there could be things like reviewing the status certificate if you're buying a condo, reviewing any zoning or any other property specific items like that. So your agent will guide you based on what makes sense for your situation. But the two most important ones you need to understand are the home inspection and the financing. So to sum it up, when it comes to conditions, they protect your deposit, they protect your best interest, they give you the ability to walk away from the deal without being financially obligated to buy that home. So when you hear something is conditional, it means that the deal isn't final. Firm, it means that it's locked in and that you now are financially obligated to buy that home. Hopefully that makes sense. If you have any questions at all, you can always drop them in the comment section or reach out to me. I would love to help you out. All right, thank you so much for watching. This was part 20. If you want the PDF version of the guide, it's down in the description. All right, I'll see you tomorrow.